Welcome to Frywall Fridays. Well, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and it's going to be an unusual one. Many of us are not going to be able to see as many of our friends and family as we usually would. So maybe a 20-pound turkey isn't the most ideal thing to make this year. But here's an idea for a poultry dish that is super delicious, a little bit fancier than turkey, and really easy to make. Pan-roasted duck breast with a balsamic wine reduction. Delicious. Let's get started. Here are our duck breasts. They're about a little bit more than 3/4 of a pound each. If you've never made duck breast before, you can see the meat is kind of dark, and we do cook it a bit like beef. It's actually going to cook to medium rare. You don't want to overcook duck. So with this amount of meat, we could probably feed 2 people very generously, or up to 3 or 4 if you have a lot of sides. So before we get started with the spices, we are going to just cut the skin in cross hatches, and that's going to prevent the skin from curling up as we cook it. We have a very sharp knife. You just want to score the skin without cutting into the meat. It's also going to make it quite beautiful as it sears up. So we're ready for the spices. I'm just going to give it a nice sprinkling of salt, pepper, and Chinese 5 spices. These go great on duck. And then flip it over and do the other side. Now we're going to put these in a sealable bag for at least 1 hour and up to 24, just to let the flavors really penetrate the meat. And just take the duck breast out of the fridge about an hour before you're ready to start cooking. The duck breasts have been marinating for a while, and they've been out of the fridge for about an hour, so they're ready to fry up. We have our oil heating up over medium heat, and we're going to put the duck breast down with the skin side down. And they're going to cook this way for about 3 or 4 minutes until they are nicely golden brown. And you don't want your pan too hot here. You definitely don't want your oil smoking. These are going to crisp up beautifully, and then you're going to flip them up on the other side, and again go for about 3 minutes until it's just beautifully golden brown. At this point, we're ready to put them in the oven for about 8-9 minutes at 400 degrees. The duck breasts are done at this point. Wow, look at that. All right, so we're going to take the duck breasts out, put them here on the cutting board, and cover them with aluminum foil. They should rest for a few minutes, just like a steak would. And while that's happening, we're going to work on our reduction. But before then, I want to dump out the extra fat here. Now, this fat is delicious. You don't want to throw it out. You can either keep it for making a confit later, or you can use this actually for salad dressing. It's delicious. So that's fine. Now, there are some crystallized juices in the bottom of the pan. That's fine. Those are going to be delicious in the sauce. We're going to put this back on the stove along with the Frywall and get our reduction going. I have my heat on medium. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of red wine and scrape up the bits of crystallized juice on the bottom of the pan. Once the wine has reduced by about half, I will add in my 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and we'll cook that down for another few minutes. Once it's nice and syrupy like this, but not too syrupy, we are ready to serve. All right, we're ready to plate this. So let's get our sauce over here. And next, I'm gonna slice up the duck here. So here we're just gonna wanna cut across in, I would say, medium thickness slices. Hopefully that's medium rare in there, and that looks pretty much as it should. The thickness of these slices is probably about 1/2 inch. You can go a little bit thinner if you like. Slice up about half of it for show. Let's get that on the plate. Look at that. And we'll dribble some of the reduction on top. You can see where the crosshatch is just a beautiful place for the reduction to kind of absorb in, just like that. You know, there's not a lot of reduction, it's fine. It is very, very intensely flavored. And just for garnish, have a few sprigs of rosemary. And there you have it. Duck with wine, balsamic vinegar reduction. Happy Thanksgiving.